TMI, people call me Uff. When I rock the party, you busted nut.
We're sitting here with Uffie. How are you today, Uffie?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
Pretty good. So, of course, like right now, it's hard to do a lot of things because of COVID and whatnot. But has it created more opportunities to make music?
I think the thing that I've noticed the most in creating music right now is how international it's become in a way. Like, of course, with writing sessions and trips, artists everywhere have the chance to interact. But there's been something about these Zoom sessions where, like, I've been working with people I probably wouldn't have right now, which I think is really cool. Obviously, it's something universal that everyone in the world is going through. And that there's something very uniting in that. And I feel like it's made a big connection.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is there something that kind of like really, is there something that like urges you to sit down and like get in a call with people and, you know, make music? Right.
I mean, definitely, like, you know, that's the way that we express. And but I also think like on the other side of that, with everything going on, it's really made people kind of stop, pause, and really think about what they're putting into the world and like what energy they're giving. And is that doing something for people? But it's also like given a challenge to make also like more positive music for me. And, you know, like there's been a lot of shifts in that. But it's at the same time, it's also hard to imagine what the landscape is going to be after this.
Yeah.
So it's been a bit of a mind fuck. Sorry if we can't say that.
No, you're good. Yeah. Speaking of not being able to do a lot of things, I have noticed that you've been doing those like virtual DJ sets, like with Club Quarantine and the Minecraft one with Open Pit. How are those experiences for you?
The massive perks are you take off your headphones, you don't have ringing in your ears, and your bed is right there, which that's awesome. But yeah, I was really, really surprised by how fun it was to play that. I was definitely very nervous, but it's so cool, like switching from people's homes and seeing them in a way like fans that I never would otherwise. And you know, like as sad as things are, we also need to dance and have positivity. So I think it's really amazing that they're managing to do that every day. I don't know if they still are, but they were doing those parties every day. And it's, I think for artists doing like also streaming shows and whatnot, it's a really personal look into it as opposed to a concert in a way, which is really cool.
Right. Have you thought about doing like, just like you said, the artists just kind of do their own, like maybe on Instagram Live? Have you thought about doing like one of those?
Definitely. I kind of struggle with Instagram Live. It makes me feel like a little uncomfortable. But yeah, I've been working on something that, because I want to make it like quite different and really like an experience for people. So I've been working on one that I'll be sharing definitely before that.
All right, awesome. Is it like you said you're a little bit nervous. Is it any more awkward or anything, or is it just as natural?
It's way less natural to me in the sense that I really feed off of the crowd's energy during live shows. And it's kind of this interaction where when you don't have that live energy, it's a little different.
Right. That makes sense. So like with your music, I often find it difficult to kind of put it under a label or genre. But you've described yourself as a complete punk at heart with a passion for hip hop surrounded by electros, which I honestly think it's how I kind of use to describe is that quote. But is this still how you describe yourself, or would you add something?
Yeah, like I've been doing a lot of co-writing for other artists lately. So that's kind of, I guess, brought pop a little bit more into my world. But yeah, like I think especially now with all of the streaming and all of the platforms that makes it possible for independent artists to release, there is kind of broken down these barriers in a strange way of that pigeonholing. But yeah, I think that's mainly how I still fluctuate.
Yeah. Okay. So you were opened up to the electronic scene through Feeds and Monsieur Wazo. Were you as passionate about music before then? And what genre?
My first love was definitely hip hop. I think the first CD I bought was Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Really?
My mom was real happy about that one. But I grew up in Hong Kong mainly. And when I came back to the States for a bit, I guess that would have been like end of elementary school, kind of starting middle school, I discovered MTV and just all these new sounds that were not my parents' music. And I just fell in love with the energy of it. I'm sorry, what was your original question?
I was just asking what your, if you were passionate about it and what was your favorite genre at the time?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that.
Yeah, it answers it. Yeah. So, you've shown much love to the French electronic music scene, and obviously, really delved into it. Is there anything you think the U.S. could take some pointers on, whether it's fashion or the music itself?
Yeah, the main thing I found the difference of Europe and America, and why I feel Europe is always kind of ahead of the curve, is there's just in my opinion, a much more openness and excitement about more underground and indie music, which I do feel like in a way influences pop before. So I'd love to see some more like exciting underground opportunities here. And like labels and that kind of thing, because I think Europe, it just has much more of a broad scene and a stronger scene for that.
Right. Yeah, definitely. So you've described your album, Sex Dreams and Denim Jeans, as a chronicle of youth. Now that you've returned with the Tokyo Love Hotel EP and a few singles, many about love and relationships, how would you describe this era of Uffie?
I think it was a lot of exploration. I had been, taking a long break, and I really wanted to step outside of my comfort zone and musically explore more genres. And I think before I was much more focused on live shows, where with this record, I was spending a lot more time in studio and really finding a love and passion for that. And yeah, I was going through a breakup at the time, and which is always just such good inspiration. But yeah, I think I wanted to really explore more of an emotional depth, you could say, and kind of like let that guard down. And it was kind of my process of finding a new sound that was a little more mature, but still staying true to that.
Right.
And like really growing from there in that EP. With the singles.
Yeah, you've definitely kind of continued similar subjects with the singles, but also just kind of with Mine and No Take Me Backs, it's more, just cool and just, Yeah. But yeah, do you want to go more in depth in the future, you think?
Definitely. Like, I think the most exciting thing and a privilege about being an artist is you can constantly explore what you're feeling in that moment, and you don't have to box yourself in. Like, I think that that's where the magic comes from. Like, I'll generally, while writing or just in life, keep a text going of lines that I think are fun, and Mine was one of those. And it's really funny because looking back, I won't understand what it means to me sometimes while writing. And then looking back, I'm like, wow, yeah, that was your subconscious saying X, X, and X. So I always love reflecting on life in songs. But I think right now what I'm finding interesting is exploring other subjects.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome.
Fun challenge.
So, you've said about the track ADD SUV that Pharrell was essentially your dream rapper to put on the track. Mm-hmm. Now that more artists have emerged and your style's kind of evolved, is there an artist currently that you would be like your dream collaborator?
Oh my gosh, so many. These are the hardest questions.
Sorry. Top 3?
Probably Frank Ocean.
Frank Ocean, ooh, yeah.
Let's aim there. Yeah, I think he's incredible, and so I love the minimalness in a weird way, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And I feel as well he really can float between genres and just do really beautiful, unexpected things.
Yeah, I feel like y'all's style would merge well,
Same.
Yeah. Speaking of collaborations, so you did the song Paris with rapper Sharif. How did that collaboration, how'd that song come about?
He was working or is working with a friend of mine, and he just has like bars for days. And I just really, really, really loved that hook when I heard it and was happy to jump on it. So we just had a fun day in the studio or a fun evening, and it just came about.
Yeah. So your latest single, Froyo for Your Tears. I was just wondering about the album cover. It appears to be you when you were in Hong Kong.
Yeah, that was actually my school photo from maybe like first grade.
Really?
Yeah.
What made you kind of pick that?
So that song, we had so much fun making it when we did, and I was kind of just like going through what I wanted to shoot and whatnot. And I was going through boxes and found it's actually my report card. And I was like all of that in there. And I was just really loved the kind of authenticity of it and the feeling, and just took a snap of it and rolled with it.
Yeah, awesome. Is that kind of one of your, like, does that song mean a lot more to you than maybe the other singles, or is there any specific one that really?
I think so. Like that, I think it was, I made it with my friends, Ahmad Royal and Roger Shahid, who are both really talented. And I actually did a lot of those with them. But yeah, there's just, there's something about some songs that just hit you. Mm-hmm. And it was one that whenever I was kind of bummed out in the morning or just wanted to dance, it was just such a feel-good, kind of free thing that really, I think, for me was a nod to the past and what I had done before, and it has a special place in my heart.
All right, that's awesome. Are there any songs, like whether it's your album, the EP, singles, that you feel kind of goes under the radar a little bit, maybe like underappreciated, I guess?
I think mine did.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like one of my top favorites.
Yeah, like I feel like I didn't get as much feedback about that one. And I just thought it was so, the keys on that one are crazy.
Yeah. Any from maybe like the album or the EP as well that you kind of think?
Sharpie on my last EP.
Really?
Like that one, obviously it's, more of like one of those interlude album tracks, but that to me, maybe because it meant so much to me while writing it, but that one was very special. Trying to think of my first album. Maybe the first one, I don't know, that's so far back.
Well, speaking of so far back, so originally for Pop the Glock, that was for arcade mode, the vinyl.
Oh my gosh, yes, it's beautiful blue 7 inches.
Yeah. And then you also, so you released your singles as promo CDs and also vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
Now it seems like physical media, even like especially like CDs, and is kind of like on a slope downward.
Yeah.
Do you think in the future you'd like to kind of like bring some of that back through music, or you think digital's solid?
No, 1,000% want to bring it back. Vinyls, like as they say, it's so true, but nothing sounds as good as it does on vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something magical about that, and I love, like, CDs to me don't really make sense now, but vinyls just have this really special place, I think, in a lot of people's hearts. It's kind of like a collection, Mm-hmm. And with the artwork, even just how much you can do in those little sleeves, and you can attach like your lyrics for fans and personal messages. And I think like what I love about the vinyl experience is you can listen to it as a whole and as a body of work so much easier, and it's just so much more natural too. So I definitely, for my next record that I'm working on, I'm gonna put it on vinyl.
Look forward to it. That's awesome.
Put it on like pink wax too. I mean, why not?
There are a lot of like choices for that kind of stuff, like you said, inserts and whatnot.
Yeah,
cool stuff. So what would you say is your favorite part about being an independent artist?
Freedom. like you could choose when you want to release something. And with as different as things are with streaming, like one of the big plus sides is you can just upload something and anyone can do it from their bedroom. It gives everyone an opportunity on a platform. You also just have complete control over everything, like what you want your image to be, when you want to do this, what your end goal is, whether that's a collaboration or opening for someone on tour, headlining this tour. There's just so much freedom.
Right.
But I've learned also with that comes a lot of responsibility.
Yeah. Let's see. So what's next for Uffie? Do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yes, I have a song, the first song off my next EP that will be coming out this summer that I'm really, really, really excited about.
All right.
It's probably my favorite song I've ever made, like in history.
Really? Awesome. Well, I guess everybody has that to look forward to. That's great. Well, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
2 steps